I'm Ayona Datta. I'm Professor in Human Geography in University College London, and I'm also Principal Investigator of this project, Learning from Small Cities. So Learning from Small Cities as a project came about as a result of the increasing interest in cities of the Global South, particularly in how they're urbanizing. And what we noticed was that a large number of the scholarship is focused on bigger cities, big metropolitan cities, and we wanted to shift that attention from these big cities to smaller regional towns and centers, because these are the places that right now are the frontiers of urbanization. These are the places that are actually increasingly urbanizing at a very fast pace. And so we wanted to see what we can actually learn from these small cities in terms of how to make sustainable and resilient policies for the future. And in this project, we chose 3 small cities, Nashik, Jalandhar and Shimla, and they represent very different aspects of urbanization around heritage, around sports industries, around developing a hill town. And each of these 3 cities offers us different ways to look at what a reimagination of the future is about, how each of these 3 cities are transforming themselves with smart and digital technologies to become kind of this new smart cities of the future. And we looked at particular kinds of imaginations around large development projects, large infrastructure projects. For the second theme, governing, we again looked around how particular kind of tensions emerge when these cities try to implement these big visions at a local scale. And these tensions emerge from increasing centralization and decentralization of governance. They emerge from kind of particular democratic politics in these specific cities. And each of them, again, offered us different insights into these processes. And then the third theme was living with change. And living with change, again, in these 3 cities, because they're so diverse, was very interesting to observe. And one of the key things that we observed was that smart cities of the future, as they are imagined, is understood very differently at street level. And each of these ordinary citizens in these cities were imagining smart from their own perspective as kind of a future lived without marginalization, with social justice, without kind of with access to resources and basic urban infrastructure. So smartness had a very different definition at street level than it was being imagined from above. The first thing we learned was that the imaginations that came into these small cities from above were translated very differently on ground. And what emerged was that there were a number of tangible and intangible assets that has existed in these cities for a very long time, which were often not really valued by the bigger urban policies of smart cities that came up. But they were valued very much by the ordinary citizens themselves. The other thing that we learned was that the future was not in the here and the now. The future has been made from a very long time back, from kind of the colonial histories that these cities have had, then coming into post-colonial development, sort of urban development policies. So in order to think about an urban future, we do need to take account of kind of the long history of urban planning that has shaped these cities into the future. And then last, I think the most important learning was that smartness had a definition at street level. Ordinary citizens found their own ways to become smart, to become resilient, to argue for a right to urban basic infrastructure, and actually aspire for new and different things that they could make their own future with. So our exhibition here sort of showcases all the 3 cities. And it sort of presents the 3 themes of the project, that is about imagining the future, governing the future, and learning to live with the future. But it also offers us a way to think about these 3 cities through a set of animations that we have created, animations that give us lessons into learning from small cities, but also separate animations about key features of each of these 3 cities.